Uh, Great, amazing. Good morning, everybody. Made in Pune. When I told my wife that I'm going to deliver my first ever TED Talk, she said, "What are you going to talk about?" And I said, "I'm going to talk about the gift of walking." And she had the exact same expression on her face that a Puneri shopkeeper has if you tell him that your shop's going to remain open between 1 and 4. Bewildered, astonished, like, what? Why are you talking about the gift of walking? I mean, you're not a walking expert. I said, yeah, exactly. And I'm sure when I see most of you here, I realize that most of you here have similar expressions or questions on your face. ये क्यों चलने के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं यार? But you know what? My movies run at the box office. They say I walk my way into people's heart. And they say that I've been walking for the last 3 decades or so in my career path. And I've realized that I love walking. I've been walking ever since I remember. I really love it. Sometimes a lazy stroll, sometimes a morning walk, sometimes just enjoy the beauty of nature. It's just not anymore in Pune because a lot of construction work happening, but otherwise you just love your walks. And I love my walks. It helps you detox. It increases your stamina. It betters your health, improves your health. And it's a no-frills exercise. No fancy machines, no gadgets. All you need is a comfortable footwear, you need comfort clothing, and you need a napkin, just to wipe off your sweat. Unless you prefer doing it the old-fashioned Indian way, which I won't recommend, but... So unless you want to do this is all that you need to walk. No frills, no machinery, no expensive gadgets, and you can still enjoy the benefits of a regular health regime. And when I looked at walking, I realized that this grid or mantra of walking, that I would like to call it, is not very different from the mantra that we would all use, or the mantra that would help all of us shape or better our careers. Surprised? I was too at the first moment. But you know what? Apna ho to charcha nahi, to kai ko fukad ka kharcha. So I said, let's make a grid. So, there's a grid, right? So what, if you symbolize your career and walking as the same thing that you do, and I've been doing for the past 3 decades, you realize that what walking does. So let's talk about what walking does. It improves your health. If you keep walking in your career, it improves your success rate. It betters your growth. It facilitates development. It helps you detox. By detox, I mean if you keep walking on your career path, it helps you remove the negativity or self-doubt from your system. It just helps you think better, clearer, faster, more logical, more focused. And in the long run, it obviously improves your stamina. Stamina to handle negativity, stamina to handle peer pressure, stamina to handle not just failure, but stamina to handle success. Because my experience tells me that it is easier to handle failures and more difficult to digest success. Success patkan डोक्यात जातो. त्यामुळे it is even more difficult to digest success. So if you keep walking regularly on your career path, it helps you to improve your stamina to digest negativity, self-doubt, and stress. And like I said, all you need is comfortable footwear, which is nothing but your beliefs, your ideas in your career path, your self-confidence in your career path, what I want to do, so that sometimes a pebble comes underneath or a pothole or a speed breaker, but these beliefs, these ideas don't let you falter, fall, waver, or just get out of sync, out of your rhythm of this walk. You need comfort clothing, which is your team or your peers, people whom you work with, who facilitate breathing of ideas, breathing of comfort, and they just help you walk better, in better rhythm, in better system, with a better class, and a more relaxed approach to walking on your career path. And last but not the least, obviously you need a napkin. This napkin is your gurus, your superiors, your inspirations, your role models, because they keep wiping off the negativity that comes in the way of toxins in your career path. Every time there's negativity, there's sweat, just wipe it with your napkin and you're fresh as a daisy and good to go. Once you establish this grid, then you actually start walking. And I started walking when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I started walking with a show called Uttarama, and I played Kush. I was really small. And people ask me, how was the experience? People ask me, how did you feel? I mean, you were a huge hit and a big success at the age of 9. Honestly, at the age of 9, the only thrill I had was I would get to bunk school And my principal was actually allowing it. All I was happy about is I was doing something so magical that my parents were actually forcing me to not go to school and do this. And I was like, wow, I'm doing something great. I'm like, which parents do that? So, and that journey started. But I realized that once you start walking, and during this walk, you face a lot of catch-22 situations in your life. Catch-22, anybody who doesn't know catch-22, please Google it. It's really simple. I only have 18 minutes. But catch-22 situation is situations which actually don't have much answers. And you have to derive your answers during the course of that journey. There is no 2 + 2, 4 kind of logic in the catch-22 situation, because no matter what you do, somebody's going to say the answer is right, somebody's going to say the answer is wrong. So you yourself has to eventually realize what is best for you and move forward. And when I was walking on my career path, I realized that I also faced a lot of catch-22 situations. So it is very, very important to understand how you need to walk on your career, exactly like you would walk on your regular morning walks. First, you need to decide the direction of your walk. I genuinely believe that God, universe, almighty, karma, no matter what you want to call that phrase or term or whatever your belief is, that force wanted us to walk forward, which is why we have eyes in the front and not behind us, which is probably why our neck does not rotate 360 degrees. Because even if I want to, the karma or the universe doesn't want me to look back all the time. It essentially wants me to focus ahead. It wants me to focus on what is coming ahead of me, which is why the direction of your walk is very, very important. When I started walking in my career and I started doing mythological shows, people said that, he's one mythological actor. He's never going to make it in the social circles. But somehow I kept walking and I managed to break that. And we'll get to that. The next important thing that you need to do when you're walking, like in walking, so in your career, you need to play and pause. Athletes all over the world practice this theory called pole-to-pole training. So what they essentially do is, because everywhere you don't have yards and markings and tracks to run, and you don't have parameters to realize how much you walked and if you're maintaining the similar distance. So athletes all over the world, and it's a practice theory, they practice something called pole-to-pole, wherein you have light poles everywhere. So you start walking from one light pole and go to the next light pole. From that light pole, you start a brisk walk. You go to the next light pole. From that light pole, you start running a bit or jogging a bit. And the next light pole, you start running. And the next light pole, you start sprinting. And the next light pole, you go back to walking. So you set yourself a definite but an increasing rhythm of your walk. I think the same holds true for your career. If you're going to think, today I started and tomorrow I'm going to be number one, I'm going to be a hit, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, it's not going to work for you. You need to slowly keep walking, play and pause these walks and figure out what's best for you in the certain circumstances. The next thing that you need to do, according to me, is recourse. You're walking morning walk, you're having a good time, you're watching, enjoying nature, and suddenly you see there's a big wall there. And yesterday that wall was just not there, but there's construction and metro work happening in the city, and today there's barricade, and so you can't go any further. What do you do when you walk? As a reflex, you just look around, look here and there and realize, oh, there's a road on the left. And you just gauge whether that road is good enough for you, and you walk on that road. You don't keep fighting with that dead wall. You don't keep cursing it. You don't keep cribbing it. You don't keep cursing your luck, saying, why this dead wall came in my life. No, you don't do that. As a reflex, you just look for the best next option available and you recourse your walk. Unfortunately, we don't do that in our careers. We keep fretting and fighting and cribbing and cursing our bad luck and our peers and our bosses or our subordinates, and waste valuable time, effort and energy which otherwise could just be translated into recoursing a bit and continuing to walk in your career path. And trust me, I have realized from my own journey that most times than not, the small left or the small right that you take eventually leads to another big avenue, another big national highway. It's happened to me. I started as a mythological actor, then people said, "Arey, ye to mythology karta hai." Then I did comedy, they said, "Arey, ye to comedy actor hai." Then I did daily soaps, they said, "Arey, he's just caught up in the rut of the daily soaps." Then I did Marathi films, now they're saying, "Oh, only romantic Marathi films." Then I did different kinds of cinema and said, "Oh, wow, he does everything, yeah, nice." That is going to happen to you in your career as well. You just need to keep walking. The fourth most important thing that I realize is you need to keep hydrate from time to time. When you're walking, you're running, you're brisking, obviously, you need water. You need hydration. When you're running a marathon, there are hydration points across the way, along the way, where people offer you bottles of water. Now, if you stop to pick up every bottle of water that comes your way, and your body doesn't need that hydration, what is going to happen is your body weight is going to increase, and it is going to affect your stamina in the long run. You will not be able to run as fast or as best as you can otherwise. Contrarily, if you don't pick up any bottle that comes your way, eventually you're going to face cramps. And eventually you'll realize that, oh, I needed water, but the last hydration point just went back 2 kilometers. And I can't go back because I need to keep running. And then you'll not be able to finish the marathon. These hydrating points in your career are nothing but opportunities. You don't have to pick up every bottle of opportunity that comes your way, but you have to keep your eyes and ears open to understand, see, and self-analyze as to when you need to hydrate and at what moment you need how much of hydration to sustain your career walk. Once you have these 4 things in place, which is direction, play and pause, recourse, and hydration, comes the most crucial and the most important part in your walk, which is heart rate analysis. They say that any form of physical exercise is eventually to healthify your heart, to make your system better, to make your heart age younger. I have realized and I have analyzed that in this mad rush of walking along your career, your heart rate is nothing but your loved ones. It's your intuition, it's your self-belief, it's your mother, it's your father, it's your wife, it's your kids, it's your best friends, it's your soulmates. It is people who matter to you. What happens is when you're really running fast and we're sprinting on our way in our careers, we don't realize that our heart is telling us that it is tired and that it needs to stop and that it needs to analyze and refocus and probably hydrate or just take a short break. But we are so madly in the rush of running and winning and wanting to be first all the time, we ignore our heart rate analysis. And that can be fatal, also costing us our lives, symbolically costing us the wellness of our loved ones, our families. So this entire grid is on one side, and I've specifically maintained the heart rate awareness mark as a distinct, different parameter. Because your heart rate is your conscience, it's your intuition, it's your gut feeling, it's your loved ones. And at the end of the day, if you're not running to healthify and better your heart, why are you running in the first place? Whom are you running for? What is the purpose of your running? Once you have answers to all these questions, my friend, I genuinely feel and I genuinely believe that all you need to do is wear a good piece of footwear, comfort clothing, have a lovely napkin in your hand, drop your shoulders, ease your body, focus in front of you, and just start walking. And you will realize, and people around you will realize, कि इसकी चाल बदल गई है बॉस, इसकी चाल better हो गई है. When I thought of this grid and when I thought of this theory, the only thing that came to my mind is how would I put all this in one form? And TED gave me this platform. The platform to think, to ideate, and to put forth these ideas into the minds of others. No matter how good, bad, small, big they are, although I feel my idea is the best because I'm standing in Pune and saying this. And anybody who's born in Pune knows that Punekars, they're always right. I mean, what? पुणेकरांनी सांगितलं बरोबरच आहे, मग त्याच्यावर डिस्कशन नाही होऊ शकत. So I feel that, you know what, this is one little wisdom that I had in my head, and I wanted that I needed to share all of this very, very simply with you guys. And I feel that all of you deserve to walk to great lengths and long distances in your career. But as long as you keep your heart intact, your head held high, your shoulders down, and a comfort in your walk, people are going to just look at you in awe and say, hey, I like the way he walks. Thank you so much.